Hi guys, my name is Sean. I'm a houseplant enthusiast from Jakarta, Indonesia. Welcome to today's video where I'm going to be watering all of my outdoor plants. So it's been raining every night for the last month or so, and finally today it did not rain. So this gives me a perfect chance to hose down all my plants in front of you guys. First disclaimer, everything here is very messy. I did not organize my plants for this video because this is so last minute. And second of all, I'm going to be talking while I am hosing down the plant, so it may be a bit noisy because the sound of the hose is actually can get pretty noisy. But I do want to go through what's going on in my head, so I'm gonna either walk through with you the species or why I am hosing down that area or whatever, or what setting I'm using on my hose. But this is just going to be a fun video, and I'm just going to be showing you my daily routine and maybe also going through some care of certain plant species and how I water my plants and all that good stuff. So come along. I'm gonna start here with some peace lilies. So the water pressure is very different every day, and today the water pressure is a little bit small. And that's a Hupertia over there, and there's some Hoyas. I hope that you're seeing what I'm seeing because I don't know how to adjust this properly. And peace lilies, they don't need deep watering. You can let them dry out a bit. In fact, I recommend not to overwater them. But when they're outdoors in these very bright conditions, they can be watered lightly every day. That's a Hoya. I do have a Hoya macrophylla variegata behind there, so I'm just hosing it down a bit. Usually when it rains, I don't really water them in the morning. I don't have to. I don't know what this plant is, but it likes full sun and it's got really beautiful berry and flower. There's some Hoya sunrise here that wants full sun. Look at how beautiful blush red it is. And when giving it full sun, you do not let them dry out. So I do water them lightly every day when it's getting full sun. All right, moving on, we're going to some full sun loving plants, and these are very, very thirsty plants. So I cannot let these dry out. As you can see, the sun is actually just rising. It's like 7 a.m. right now. I do like to paint the wall with water to raise the ambient humidity here. If you're indoors and you're misting your plants with those little misters, you're not really gonna raise humidity but when you're outdoors like this, like I even sprayed the water down, this is gonna raise the ambient humidity for quite a fair amount of time, and by quite a big amount. So there's some plants that are propagating away. Spoiler alert. It's a Dracaena white aspen, the cutie. There's an Anthurium magnificum baby here. All the plants you're not supposed to see. Maybe the videos are not out yet. So these are Calathea repens. These are all full sun loving plants. Oh my god, this one's trying to pot into my lavender. Get out of there! Yeah. Play nice, be nice. They grow so fast and they can really be a weed, so I need to remove this like now. Okay, and that's a lot of lavender here and rosemary. I managed to propagate them and grow them out. Lavenders cannot be bought and brought home as it is. For me, at least, they always die back. So I always take cuttings, and the cuttings are the ones that will grow. And this is a coleus, very thirsty plants. Sometimes I come here in the afternoon, if it's super hot out, like super sunny, I'll water them one more time. All these plants need a lot of water. They cannot be left to dry. This is some peppermint, more coleus back there, and there's a lot of baby plants propagating away. There's a costus. That's I don't know if this is an aglonema. That's a lot of alocasias. This video is basically a massive spoiler for you guys. There's a lot of Hoyas down here. This is getting very bright indirect light. It's shaded under this shelf. Some rosemary here. This is also a very thirsty plant, but I give it terracotta pot and general purpose potting mix because they don't want to be sitting in water. They need to be a little bit fast drying. Caladiums, also thirsty. Basically all these plants here are quite thirsty. Hoya macrophylla variegata, I water this every day because it does need that water. Look at how sun stressed it is. I water it lightly every day. And I've got ZZ plants here, and I also water my ZZ plants. Sorry. I water my ZZ plants every day. So because they do get dry quite quickly here. Got a lot of these red Panama hibiscus going on. They keep growing so wild and so big. I have to actually cut this back and propagate the top so that the bottom, you can see here, I took a cut here, so the bottom can branch out because I want a bushy plant. I don't want long leggy stem like this. So I'm gonna have to cut it. The same goes with the basil here. They all have to be pruned so that they can get bigger leaves. But these are all very, very, very thirsty plants. Twice a day if it's a very hot full sun day, but if it's a cloudy day, I only do it once a day. In fact, if it's a sunny day today, I may probably do a follow-up video just to show you how dry they got in about a few hours time. Yeah, I may do that if I've got the time. There's some orchids down here. I hosed down my orchids. That's a, I can't remember the name. This pot fell over, sorry. I think I got everyone. Yeah, let's move on. Moving on, this is my favorite area here. I work from left to right. So, it's my philodendron burle. The pot is way behind there, so I have to really give this a deep watering. Also, it's in terracotta pot, so it's very fast drying. This is a really old plant. It's a bigger plant, as you can see, it's so huge. So it does need a little bit more water, and some of the water on the aerial roots would be very good for it too, because it's going to be drinking some of the water from the aerial roots. And this is a syngonium, light watering every day. It doesn't need a lot of water. Scindapsus, this one can get watered quite a bit because this is huge. Look at how big this plant is. That pot is over there. And then I'm just kind of mist down this monstera, get the aerial roots wet, get the Scindapsus, and there's some philodendron, lemon lime, and a calathea silver plate back there. So just kind of memorize where all the pots are, because the pots are normally not where the foliage is. I want to aim at it. And that Maranta, I just water it lightly every day. Basically all my calatheas, I water them very lightly every day. And that's this here. I've just watered this down so that it can grow into the wall. And peace lily here, they don't need a lot of watering. Anthuriums. What's that? Begonia. Let me find the pot. There. Some of you guys are wondering how I take care of over 1,000 houseplants. Well, it's basically I hose them down every day. But I do hose them down differently, and because every plant has different needs, and I look at the leaves too. If this is a little bit crispy like this, begonia, it is underwatered. So if it's yellow with, it's crispy with a little bit of yellow line, that's overwatering. So I kind of keep that in mind. And this one is actually a little bit pot bound. It's in a terracotta pot and it's become quite big. So even though I water it every day, sometimes it's still a little bit dehydrated. This is why I don't let people water my plants. I like to water my own plants because I have a relationship with them. I have a system. And I don't like it when people move my plants around because I know where they are. I know how to water them and the kind of sunlight that they're getting so that I know that they're happy. If somebody moved these around, like I would not be watering them the same way. It would mess up my system. And then this Camphyria is very, very thirsty. She's a very, very thirsty plant. Look at how big she's got. I got her from a younger plant. And Severias don't need a lot of water. I just kind of skim through it a bit. Begonias. There's a ZZ plant there. It doesn't need a lot of water. I just skip it. I let some water just get on the top of the soil surface. It's a Makoyana. It does need quite a bit of watering. You can see the crazy aerial roots. The Scindapsus. The Scindapsus are not a very thirsty plant. When they're small pot like this, you don't really need to water them that much. But when you're huge like that, I do water them a bit more heavily. Sansevierias don't need water. Monstera, Deliciosa, Calathea. This is in a wide pot and it is in an orchid pot. And they also tend to curl up like this. So I'm guessing it does need more water. This one is actually curled up almost completely. So maybe this is getting too dry, too fast. But It's okay. When it was a younger plant, it's fine. But when it's an older plant, I do have to water this way more frequently and way more deeply. There's an alocasia amazonica back there, and there's the new leaf. How cute. They do like to be watered quite frequently. They're very thirsty plants. And they respond pretty well to fertilizer as well, I noticed. Calathea zebrina, also quite a thirsty plant, I noticed, but they don't want to be sitting in water. But they will drink up water quite quickly. Dieffenbachias, I'm careful not to overwater them. They have rotted off before, so they're quite easy to rot. There's one hidden back there. Make sure not to miss it. It's okay if you miss it one day or so. It will probably curl up, but they'll survive. Just pay attention to them. And this is the philodendron 98686. Very cute pot. For these ones, I do hose down the moss pole as well so that the aerial roots can grab into the moss pole, putting out a really beautiful growth point. There's a philodendron Florida ghost, and it's growing and growing. This is so pretty. I love looking at that. I may take a picture for Instagram later. This, I believe this is an Aglonema silver bay, if I'm not wrong. It doesn't like a lot of water. I just kind of skip it. I overwatered it, so I ended up cutting it up because it rotted and then stick it back into the potting mix, and this is the main stem. So I want to be careful not to overwater it. This is a fern. I go hard on ferns when it comes to watering. They need water daily. That's a Dieffenbachia reflector. There's a palm. Palm also needs to be watered. They cannot be left to dry out too much. But they don't want to be sitting in water. So just find a healthy balance, I guess. But they're quite adaptive. There's a huge Monstera deliciosa. And there's a, what do you call that? Epipremnum pinnatum. Let me come around actually, so you can see better. But look how big these leaves are. This is, oh, I got dirt on my hand. This is huge. Whoa. There's an African violet here, and this is my Epipremnum pinnatum variegata corner. I've got 3 of them sitting, hanging out here. I do hose down the moss pole quite a bit, and they're quite thirsty plants. I noticed they do drink up water quite quickly, but they don't want to be wet too, so they want to be dried out fast. The begonia, there's a begonia with a lot of propagates in them. I just stick them back into the pot. Let's see what happens. And peace lilies back there, they don't mind the low light. That one is flowering. Very cute. And they don't want to be watered too much too, so I just go easy on the peace lilies. They don't need a lot of water. Okay, so this is actually my favorite area to water every day. Starting with here, there's a lot of begonia propagations here. I love looking at them because they're growing every single day. And they're quite thirsty because this is actually very good airflow, so they get dry very quickly. I just water them lightly every day. I don't want to overwater my my begonias because they're in a forest floor potting mix. So they don't really hold on to moisture too much, but the potting mix just needs to be humid and never soggy wet. Water this plant. They have a lot of aerial roots here, so I just water the whole thing down instead of just the soil. And here's an Epipremnum pinnatum variegata, and this is a mature plant, so it does need a little bit more water. Terracotta pot, and it does get partial direct sunlight. There's some baby plants that are propagating away. Ficus here. So this area gets pretty good light. It gets like, I don't know, about 2 to 3 hours or maybe even 4 hours of direct sunlight. And what I love to do is I like to water down the floor as well. This is to raise the humidity, but also mostly because I enjoy it. It's like painting the wall every day. There's some Dischidia there. As you can see here, this is yellowing, this is overwatering, so I'm gonna skip it today. This is also a little bit rot. So yeah, I'm gonna skip watering that today. There's an orchid here. It's Vanda orchid. Vanda orchids like to be hosed down. There's the Hoya sunrise here. That's the parent plant. The plant that we watered earlier. Burlemarks. Philodendron burlemarks. There's the shy syngonium back there. She's hiding. Some baby plants, propagate. Actually, some of these are not babies anymore. They're more like teenager size. Philodendron Brazil. This is already outgrown its pot. A lot of syngoniums. When you give them direct sunlight, they turn white. When you give them low light, they turn green. So look at how pretty these clumps are. Very, very nice. Yeah, these ones are getting more light. This is getting less light. That's why the colors are different. There's a lot of baby Hoyas back here. Not babies, actually. I propagated them about, I don't know, 5-6 months ago in my Hoya video. Hoya propagation video. It's actually one of my most watched videos, surprisingly. Yeah, I'm just gonna hose down everything. I love doing this. Don't laugh at me. It's just everybody's got a thing, right, that they like to do that ticks their boxes. And this is one of them for me. There's syngonium down there. This fell down. I don't know, some animal probably knocked it over. This plant is unruly. I don't know if I like it. It's the same plant that we have above, the Calesia rapens. They become really beautiful pink and white when they get full sun, but then their leaves become this green, and then they just become unruly. It's an Epipremnum amphissimum, if I'm not wrong. It's a very underrated houseplant, and that's actually the propagate. This is what the plant looks like in its younger form, and I do prefer the younger form. They come variegated. They can also come in silver. Very, very underrated plant. I can't believe why no one talks about them. These are usually my propagates. I do keep an eye out for this Peperonia Argyria corner. I just water them every day lightly. They live in bright shade here and they love it. There's some Apischia, more Peperomia. These are all medium to low light loving plants that are under there, also under here. This one gets a little bit of direct sunlight, but only in the front. This is actually not supposed to get direct sunlight. Let me move it back a bit. Yeah. Peperomia. There's a shy metallica back there. Peperomia metallica. It's such a beauty. Look at that. It cannot be overwatered, but it doesn't like really bright light either. So it's shaded under other plants. So I do water them lightly every day, and again, if it's too hot out, I will do it one more time in the hot afternoon sun. Although sometimes if I know I'm going out, which I'm not doing a lot these days, what I do is if I look at the weather and I see, oh, it's not a lot of clouds, what I do is I just water them very deeply and just leave them be. I won't water them the second time in the afternoon. But it's actually safer to water them lightly, and then maybe later if the weather gets really hot, you can water them again. But if you're busy, just water them deeply the first time around and just leave it be. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I hope you guys know what I mean. Don't overwater your plants, basically. But Anthurium, this one needs a little bit more water. Back there. Oh, the water pressure is just increasing. I can feel it. It feels amazing. There's a fern down here hiding. There's a lot of ferns over there. These are all thirsty plants, by the way. These Calathea Whitefusions are actually very thirsty, and it's romantic triostar, but they don't like to be sitting in water. They hate water, but they don't want to be dried out too much. They love humidity, which is why I group them like that. I group these all together. They love ambient humidity. They love high humidity. Some peperomia incana down there hiding away. Let me inspect this leaf. Something's happened to it. Maybe this is getting a little bit too low of the light for it. But it is looking happy. Let me move it up a shelf. Let me upgrade it. But this is a little bit too much light. I'm going to shield this philodendron over it. There you go. This is a philodendron gaby. It can take some direct sunlight. And if you give it direct sunlight, it's going to give you these beautiful, creamier leaves. I might have missed that, sorry. I'm really loving the water pressure now. It's so good. This is an Anthurium vitarifolium, my carnivorous plant. Sometimes I do check the pitchers, make sure that it's a little bit filled with water, but not too much. It does like to be only about a third or a quarter of the way with full with water. And it does like very bright light, but not full sun. So this area, the plants get really good light. This is an opening up above. So a couple hours of direct sunlight, but not more. Alocasia. That one might be overwatered. Let me see. Yeah, this looks a little bit overwatered. I need to back off watering on these. They were happy with increased watering for a while, but then now they're suddenly not interested in water. So I don't know what's wrong. What's up with that? Orchids, my favorite section. I love hosing down orchids because their potting mix is just leca, so they do dry out really quickly. Oh, and one more thing the reason that I really like to wet the floor here is because not only does it raise the humidity, I can actually feel the humidity. It's increasing, but when I finish watering everything and I turn back around, the floor is already dry. So yeah, this is how I know that outdoor watering is more forgiving than indoors. Like you can actually water your plants a lot more frequently when you are outdoors. Vanilla orchid here. Kind of say hello to everyone. I kind of check on everybody while I'm watering them. Make sure that everybody's doing okay. There's a Maranta Kercheviana. It's an orchid here, and I can't bring it to the living room because it put its flower spike through the shelf. Cadescantia nanook. This is a fern, and this is probably gonna need a lot of water. It's gonna be a hot day. So this fern can take very good light. As you can see, it's open air here, so it's gonna get about 5 to 6 hours of direct sunlight. It's a Hoya linearis barely making it. Okay, so Plumania. So these are the section that I don't really water much. They like humidity, but they don't like to be overwatered, and they get kind of medium light. So I need to be mindful. Look at this one. This is actually, well, first of all, it's old leaves, and maybe it's also spent its energy on this flower. By the way, this is an Aglaonema pictum tricolor, and I have to propagate this soon. This is going to be a very fun project. But I may have overwatered it, so I need to cut back on the watering. Because look at the yellow leaves, there's so many of them. So just hose these down lightly. There's an ornata here. I sometimes forget it, so I need to be sure. And these philodendrons, they also don't like to be overwatered. This is my philodendron Parasol Verde. It's put out, I don't know, 5 leaves since I propagated it. It's very fast growing. Anthurium. Brantianum, look at this. So I'm watering with my vertical setting here. And this, sometimes I can go this way, sometimes I can go this way. There's a fern here, so I just water it down. Actually, there's another fern back there. I must not forget to hose it down. There, because I got it at the same time. I want to make sure that everybody got their share. There's another fern. And there's Hoya. Sometimes I forget a few times, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. Okay, so there's some propagates here. Begonia, cistus this color. And this area doesn't like water as well. I just kind of hose it down gently. There's some calatheas, low light loving plants. And this philodendron is actually a little bit more thirsty. This is a philodendron silver sword, has statum. Philodendron golden violet, and this is an medium, and this actually is very thirsty plant. There's some calatheas there that died, but it grew back. So I don't want to water it that much. I want to kind of leave it humid, but never soggy wet, because they don't need a lot of water. You can really rot them out. It's the melanochrysum doing its thing. It's climbing up, and this is a philodendron lupinum. It's not getting bigger leaves. I don't know why. It's not really latching onto the pole. I've got a few of these around, but they have really pretty pink backs. Really cute, but somehow they're not getting too big. I don't know why. They should get bigger leaves. And this is my top plants, maidenhair fern. Philodendron warzawiskii, Birkins are up here. They get VIP seeding. I just water them lightly every day. Yeah. And then turn around, some peperomia. These are all propagates. More orchids. So this is getting medium light back here. Oh my god, look at this baby leaf. This is insane. Oh my god. Hello. Anthurium clarinervium. Rockwinium. This one I need to be careful of. I don't want to overwater it, so I just kind of go over it lightly. This Emidrium is also very, very thirsty. As you can see, it's droopy now. I have to water this quite often, I notice. Emidriums are thirsty plants in general. These are some young plants. I don't want to water them too much. And this, I need to make sure I get it. This is a Dischidia, and this is the mounted Hoya macrophylla. And then up there, we've got more plants. Some philodendrons, some painted lady, some Hoyas. I am so messy. I actually need to organize all my plants. And I love this part. This is where I paint this wall. As you can see here, I'm painting it. This is going to increase the humidity. I'm also holding down some of these Hoyas here. This is the Hoya pot of gold that I bought from our latest Hoya tour video. It's finally put out a new vine. Okay, and this is all my mounted plants. There's some leaves on that fiddle leaf fig. I just kind of hold it down. Clean the leaves off. And a frog actually lives here. I'm surprised he's not here today. Usually he sits right there, that's his feet. And then maybe his poop. Got the table, got the floor. There's a fern up there. I do need to make sure it's well watered. It cannot be dry. I think it's a little bit underwater. You can see a lot of crispiness there because I tend to forget to water this plant. But I really love these aerial roots. Look at them. I love these beautiful, beautiful fern roots. If you tuck this into a pot, by the way, they can turn into plants. You can propagate them this way. This is actually the edge of fronds. They can turn into fronds in the tip. There's another corner here. Sorry, it's so messy back here. You're not supposed to see this. This is Scandapsus back here. And it's lashed down to the wall back there. So I need to hold it down a bit. Look at this beautiful gloriosum leaf. So this one is actually climbing down the pot. Up, 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 and around. Look at that. This is so pretty. It's my Monstera. Philodendron elegans with a new leaf. Hello. Cutie. Look at that Rhaphidophora tetraspermites. It's reaching out to the sky. And this Monstera leaf is hardening up. It's so pretty. It's so showy. It's showing us, basically, it's facing us directly. Clean off this leaf. Okay. So let me do a one over. Let me turn around and see if I missed anything. So basically, I just keep everything humid, and then I can feel it in the air I breathe that the humidity is a lot higher now. Okay, so we've moved on to a whole new area here. And this one, I have to start with the Sansevieria here. It does need to be watered quite daily. It's only in cocoa chips. So I have a video on this Sansevieria where I saved it. I'm gonna link the video up above. water it lightly every day. Or sometimes if it's cloudy, I don't even water it. They can be drought tolerant, so they don't have to be watered quite frequently. That's a thirsty fern. This one right here, it needs to be watered 2 times a day. Crazy. And then there's the variegated banana. Very thirsty plant. And variegated monstera. This one's putting out a green leaf. That's why I'm putting it out here to give it a little bit of direct sunlight in the morning. Caladium. This is my beautiful crocodile fern. I love it. This pink princess is putting out a pink leaf. Finally, so cute. Ferns. I just hose these down. Spider plants and ferns. Spider plants can be very thirsty when you leave them outdoors. And there's a Persian shield. This is also a very, very thirsty plant. I need to water this twice a day for sure. They will wither by the end of the day. There's some Adansonii, variegata. Look at how beautiful the variegation is. And this next leaf is so big. You have to water your ferns really deeply every day. They're very thirsty plants. They cannot be left to dry out. So I've got an Adansonii back there, if you can see. It's putting out a lot of variegated leaves. That's why I'm putting it in low light behind that fern. So it's going to be punished for a while. I don't want it to get all white leaves. Too dangerous. Very thirsty plants. These are coleus. Super thirsty. I can insert a picture on the screen of what they look like when they're thirsty. They basically droop. They droop really hard, but they also bounce back really hard. They love full sun, frequent watering. There's the Pastazanum back there. Yeah, I'm done with this area. Actually, I need to fill this area up with more plants after. I don't know, I need to start reorganizing. It's so messy. Here are some cacti and succulents. So I'm just hosing them down almost daily. That plant is struggling. I can't remember the name. It's been struggling for a while now and I can't help it. And this one too, this was a Christmas gift. I don't really know the species or the care. It's probably dried out, but I do water it. I don't know. I don't know how I'm killing this, but I don't. Okay, so these are all my propagates actually. That's my pothos, philodendron scindapsus, philodendron micans. Everyone's here. I really love those scindapsus. These are trying to grow into the wall. This can get really thirsty though, these plants, because they're in very, very fast draining aeroid potting mix for the most part. Some of them are in general purpose potting mix, but they do get a couple of hours, maybe I would say to 1 to 2 hours of direct sunlight every day. Even the Sansevierias, they do get watered down every day. I know you're not supposed to, but oh well, because they're just here. So I just hold it down right next to the other plants. Look at how beautiful sun-stressed the philodendron micans are over here. This is some fern. This is something Susie Bong. I can't remember the name. I'll include it on the screen. I love it. It's all propagated from one plant. I've propagated a few batches of these, and I'm going to propagate it again. Maybe I'll do a video on these. Very, very pretty fern. And this is the philodendron, Monstera carcentianum or Monstera peru. That's a syngonium from our syngonium video. Yeah, again, when this area is getting really strong light that day, pot fell over. Let me save it. When this is getting strong direct sunlight, I do have to water it again in the afternoon. Oh my god, sorry, it's a scindapsus. Okay, one final hose and then I'm gonna move on. See you guys. I actually need to start propagating those again because they're starting to grow into each other's pots. It's too messy. This is my neglected corner. And this is my beautiful Hoya carnosa, and it's finally put out new leaves. This put out a new leaf every 3 to 4 months. Very slow growing. There's another one over here. Hold on, make sure that I water it. Okay, that's I believe a cordyline that fell. It keeps falling over, so you know what? I might leave it for now. I'm not gonna save it for now. Ah, sorry. Ooh, I'm so sorry. Oh, that hit you so hard. I wanted to aim for the bottom here, the potting mix. This is in general purpose potting mix. This variegated fiddle leaf fig. They are quite difficult, as you can see. There's a lot of twistiness, a lot of stress, but they are quite thirsty. I noticed I was keeping them a little bit too dry before. When you keep them in direct sunlight like this, they need to be not direct, so it's partial direct sunlight. They need to be watered quite well. This is my ficus elastica, ficus larata, propagate. There's some ferns back there. Zebrina, alocasia zebrina. Ferns are really easy. I just hose them down like that, and they just have a really great day ahead of them. They don't ask for much at all. There's some more ferns there, some crotons. Crotons like water, they're quite thirsty, and they like full sun. These are some alocasias that I bought really cheap, and I'm rehabbing them, so that hopefully they'll survive. I think I got everyone. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. I actually have my bedroom balcony where a lot of plants are living there, but those are actually my expensive plants and my propagates. I'm not gonna do that in this video because this video is looking to be too long, so I'm gonna maybe not do it because I also don't want to spoil you guys. Like, there's a lot of secret going on in my balcony right now, my future projects. Let me take this leaf off. So this is a what do you call this? An orchid, Vanda orchid. This is Hoya. My mind is blank now. Hoya macrophylla variegata. Very thirsty plant when you leave it outdoors in direct sunlight like this. This is also this is also a thirsty plant, a canna lily. And let me see if I can go all the way over here. Oh my god, okay. That hose is tangled. Sorry. There you go. It's a palm. That pillow fell on the floor. The wind is so crazy here. These are my pineapples. Very thirsty plants too. I water them lightly almost every day, and they love really good light. I don't know if they can live full sun. I have a feeling they do. I mean, they grow in pineapple plantations, right? So, but these ones here, they get partial direct sunlight. There's some alocasias. So caterpillars decimated this whole. There's so many weeds here. I need to start pulling out my weeds. This is terrible. I'm ignoring all my. I mean, not ignoring. I'm neglecting my parental duties here. Alocasias, they like to be a little bit, what do you call it? Not dried out completely. They like to be humid and chunky around the roots. Okay, these are my tables, which we did a video a while back. These are all getting direct sunlight, and sometimes, I don't want to say full sun, they're getting afternoon direct sunlight. Because the sun position is right up here where the sun is moving between 12 to 2 p.m. where the sun is the hottest. But I wouldn't consider these full sun area. Make sure I get that. This is a really underrated plant too. This is I can't remember, cryptanthus? And this plant started out non-variegated, and it just became more and more variegated as I leave it out here in the sun. Look at that. Look at how the old leaves are actually green. This is my coleus parent plant from which all my cuttings were taken from. And I skip my sansevierias. I try not to water them because they do not like that. Begonia here, they do get a little bit shaded under the other plants, so they're okay. They're not getting too bright of a light. This is a Tomatophyllum mayoi. Someone asked me about this plant, this yellowing leaf. They actually like direct sunlight, maybe even full sun, I'm not sure. But Tomatophyllums, just like this Tomatophyllum bipinnatifidum, they like full sun. So this I have a feeling likes full sun too. It's a Dischidia here. How cute. I actually meant to put this back indoors. This is the pot. I'm gonna put this back indoors. I just put it out here for the rain yesterday. Okay, I think I am all set. So yeah, there's a dying leaf there. I'm sorry you had to see that. You're not supposed to see it. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you guys are all staying safe and your plants are healthy. I'm at Botanist on Instagram if you want to DM me on any questions regarding plant care and propagations. I'll try my best to get back to you. Meanwhile, do take care and stay safe. I will see you in the next video. Bye.